You're listening to Nick Luck Daily. This edition is brought to you by Timeform, your trusted source for racing data and analysis. By Total Performance Data, the global leader in live horse racing data. This edition is also brought to you by Fitzdares, laying some of the world's largest sporting wagers since 1882. Morning, welcome to the show. This is the podcast for Friday the 10th of April. Fear not, if you're waiting for chance or no chance for the Randox Grand National, that comes as a separate edition, a separate self-contained edition. Today it features all our team of experts during the course of the year and, of course, Lydia Hislop, who I've repaid in a horrible way, because last night Lydia said, I'll be there at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I went, you sure? And here you are.
No.
I know.
Hello.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
I just happened to wake up at 6:30, if I'm being really honest.
I've got bugger all better to do, so I'll wander down and do a podcast with
I did, yeah. I also thought it would be lovely to come to Aintree early in the morning, see some horses out on the track. It would be a nice way to start the day. If I'm honest, that was the pull. The biggest pull. I'm sorry, guys.
And Dan Barber. And Timeform's Dan Barber. How did you get on yesterday?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Quite a lot of detailed race reading required, wasn't there, for what would have happened in the latter stage of races had certain horses not made mistakes. The Red Rum, I think it was going the right way that it went in the end, in Ryan's Rocket's favour anyway. But we had the How
did your mate John Joe O'Neill sit on Highlands Watson at the last?
I don't know really. He had, I don't know, glue? I don't know what it was, but he'd already survived one mistake in the back straight. But there was that race, there was the New Lion. I don't think it's as cut and dried as people were saying. I think there's a chance that horse could have won that Aintree hurdle without a mistake of that severity, because he spends most of the running alongside the third and fourth as he's trying to regather his momentum, and in the end he's 2 lengths clear of them, and he's 2 lengths clear and closing again on the eventual winner, Brighter Days Ahead. But that was a bit of a theme, I thought. Late mistakes causing problems, and Imperi Pass was the most notable.
Oh, yeah. And Imperi Pass is a bit of a monkey who needs a bit of finesse. I'm not quite sure what would have happened there.
No, I think Django Bai would have won. I think he's got the more proven stamina, he pulled away, and he was clearly has shown no ill effects from Cheltenham, which he was 12 months earlier, which suggests that he's more mature, more able to deal with tough races, and backing up from Cheltenham to Aintree. It's interesting, the Brighter Days Ahead point. I'm slightly more in the Brighter Days Ahead camp, but I think it's an argument. And it was interesting that immediately after the race, Harry Scarson was kind of like, I think I'd got every chance of beating her. And then he went back and watched it, and he was less convinced. So it was interesting during the course. Well, I mean, it's only his view,
I think it's one of those where nobody can be dogmatic, but all the dogmas seem to be that, it definitely would have won anyway. And also there was the moment in between 2 out on the last where Harry tried to go up the inside, the gap wasn't there, and it's probably very fine margins, and it might have been half a length difference, but with that and the mistake, it might have been different.
Can we point out how with what awareness Jack Kennedy was riding yesterday? There was several lovely moves.
Well, started with Mange too, didn't it?
That's what I was thinking of, absolutely. And that just that all of that moves a move to both benefit Mange too and to disadvantage Salma Davari.
Like the going right late on slightly after the last.
Sort of moving up earlier as well. So moving up earlier, so they were in that kind of position. Seamless, that was
very skillful.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I don't even know what just happened.
I don't know what happened either.
Jack Kennedy-esque, that was.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant bit of shimmy from Josh Stacey, the Swiss Army knife of this podcast. So, in terms of
corkscrew, please.
What Timeform could do yesterday, did any horse, do you think, run a very big number?
I don't think they did, really.
Hang on. What about Barton Snow? He must have run a big one.
Yeah, he might have been the star performer of the day. I mean, he's obviously a serious hunter chaser.
What is he though? Martin was Martin Dixon talking about the champion hurdle on Racing TV?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
because the trainer was afterwards, Joe O'Shea.
Champion hurdle.
Yeah, champion hurdle.
Without being disrespectful to the genre of racing he's in, I feel like if he just spends the rest of his days in hunters, it will feel like something of a waste because of the fact there is so much raw ability there.
In them old days, the really, really good. Oh my God.
Gunnar Welburn.
Now later, I think Laura Wright is going to come and talk to us. But at the moment, she and Matt Chapman are performing a duet over my left shoulder, which rather knocked me off my stride.
You've got to admire the confidence of the man.
It's absolutely tremendous. What are we talking about, Barton?
I think you're thinking Gunnar Welburn.
Yeah, in the old days,
Lord
they used to
Atterbury.
just do it, didn't they? They used to, Castlemaine, of course, the great unfulfilled talent, never got a chance to do it properly. Teton Mill was the one I was really thinking of course, who really did graduate.
Venottery?
Venottery, what might have been.
Had Oliver,
and Oliver Carter refused to let Nichols put the tongue tie on him in the champion chase. He took the tongue tie off, didn't he? Went into the declaration system and took the tongue tie off. And it was there absolutely tanking at the top of the hill.
That was amazing. What a rise that was once Nichols got hold of him.
Yeah. Grittar, of course.
Yes. The horse that got me into racing, Grittar. That was the 1982 Grand National, absolutely.
So wouldn't that be that would have been the obvious thing, wouldn't it? Right, you run your dual Fox Hunters winner in next year's Grand National. Or do we just don't think he'd stay? But I didn't think he'd stay at Cheltenham.
He doesn't go like a Dower stayer, does he?
Doesn't, no.
But he might just because he's so much better than them. What a fascinating story though, from such humble beginnings. And Joe O'Shea I know nothing about him, but he appears to just have this unbelievable dab hand at getting sort of sour or underachieving ex-rules horses to really flourish.
Winning that race 3 times is a huge achievement.
Any
fellow Mancunian, of course, I think. Did you say he was from Salford?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Any other Timeform nuggets for me from there?
Yeah, there is. It might be different in the National. I think this has shifted. At Timeform we record EPF's early position figures, so where a horse is positioned in a race, 1 being a front runner or vying for the lead, 5 being those that are dropped out. And prior to Gentleman de Mee last year, with a view to the Topham, it was basically an impossibility to come from the back. His performance was utterly remarkable, and I think he'll bid to become the 5th horse in history to be a multiple winner of the Topham Chase today, and he'll probably be trying to do it under the same tactics. But prior to that, if you forgive me reading, the EPFs of the winners of the Topham going back to Ultra Gold in 2017, 2, 2, 2, 1, abandoned, 1, 1, 2.
So if you don't get too far back, basically.
You've got to be handy. And even though it's often said about Henderson's record in the Grand National of having never won the race, the Topham has been a huge tonic as a backup. He's won it 5 times, equal with a trainer now who is still on a licence but shares it with his son, so it's Mickey and Peter Bowen, with Always Waiting winning 3 of those. He's seeking to break that tie this year, Nicky Henderson with Excello, which perhaps that does paint a picture that Henderson doesn't tend to deal in these plodding staying horses. Not that you need a plodding staying horse nowadays for a national, but he deals in the swifter ones that are fine in the Topham, but maybe not so in a Grand National.
Okay, we ought to talk a little bit about yesterday's Grand National news, Lydia, and ins and outs. So we know that obviously there's a gap created by Spillane Tower, who ran poorly in the bowl. That let a reserve in. Pied Piper is out, so he was the first reserve. So we're now down to Am I Right getting in as number 34, aren't we?
The last time I looked at it, yes.
Yeah, and we still haven't had confirmation as we speak, but we need when do they have to call it by? Sometime this morning, isn't it?
Is it 10:30?
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Because it's changed slightly.
Mr. Vango would be one that, if there isn't any more rain, I'd have thought would be a bit of a doubt, but we've not heard from Sarah Bradstock.
What were Timeform calling the Grand National course yesterday?
Good to soft. It was. I think both we went good to soft all round. I think all 3 courses were borderline, nearer good than soft. But I think the difficulty of comparing standards is these are the best horses that run at Aintree all season. We don't have poor racing at Aintree ever, but standards might not be as sharp as you'd anticipate because of the fact that it's just a better calibre of animal running at the meeting.
It's like Epsom on the flat.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so there's so much run-of-the-mill stuff where the standards are.
You guys keep talking. I'm ringing Sarah Bradstock.
Keep talking. I've got to do another podcast.
Have you?
See ya. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Are you really? He's off.
He is off.
He's off.
Okay.
He's gone. He has gone. So at the moment, Am I Right is the last one in, we think, to the Grand National. I'm actually on trying to get a connection to Sarah Bradstock as we speak to see what the deal is with Mr. Vango.
He's been stung by the idea that I say that here's what I prepared earlier, so now he's doing them live on purpose. This is a point that he's making.
I'm making no point, but that's it. Not pick up.
Live TV.
Which is not uncommon. It's not a great strike rate.
Right.
You actually have more success on the old landline.
Right. Are you going to try that?
The old analogue. No, because she'll be out in the yard.
Right. Okay.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
Anyway, but he's a possibility. I would have thought. I heard if the ground went the other way and there was a load of rain tomorrow, that Banbridge would be a bit doubtful.
Doesn't seem to be much rain on the forecast.
No.
Did you see much?
But then, yeah, that wouldn't let another reserve in anyway because they have to leave that till the last minute.
Exactly. So I mean, that's a shame. Is the one that's hovering. He's twice run in the Grand National. And
6th under David Maxwell.
Yeah, but that was very steadily run edition of 2 years ago. The year before, he was quite a well-beaten 11th when it was more conventionally run at a stronger pace.
Alrighty.
I came there thinking that it was very unlikely that I think it was okay, and they've done a fantastic job. So he will run unless the only last spanner in the works is if Jack Tudor rides in the Topham and says no, it's really not good for him.
But you think, broadly speaking, very likely to run.
Very, very likely to run. Yeah, I think it is exactly what they say. It's good to soft. It's definitely safe for him. It obviously isn't heavy, which would make him a certainty. But we're hoping that they water and then we get a bit of a freak rain shower tonight.
Yeah, I think you might get a little one tomorrow, maybe before racing. But as you say, it's really what they've done to the ground already, isn't it? Can you be confident, Sarah, that he can put a better foot forward than he has the last twice? Totally.
He had an abscess under a corn at Sandown, and then he came back from Newcastle, and he definitely had a bug. He coughed and bled.
Okay.
So I'm completely confident that neither of those are the case, and he's in pretty good nick. It's just a question of whether on this ground that level of horse will go too fast for him.
What do you think in your heart of hearts?
My heart is praying that the ground is testing enough that they won't go so fast that he can't lay up, and that he'll be the one who's staying on at the end. My head says, can he go fast enough? I don't know.
Well, I think there'll be a lot of people hoping and praying that he can. Thanks for taking the call. I will see you a little bit later.
The only thing I would say, Nick, is that everybody went on about that it was overwatered at New Toxteth when he won.
Yeah.
This is not. Okay, it won't be as messy as that because that's messier ground. But this wouldn't be a lot slow. It wouldn't be a lot faster.
Okay, interesting. Well, that will give us all hope. Sarah, thanks so much.
Okay, thanks.
Cheers. There we go.
That was really informative.
Yeah. So it looks like he will run.
Yeah,
which is good. I'm really pleased he's running.
And some reasons for what happened the last couple of times as well, beyond just merely the ground, which I think is quite encouraging. That comparison with Toxteth again, encouraging. I do worry, the same worry that she has, about whether he'll just be able to lay up. I was just, while you were talking to Sarah.
Oh, you've got your weather app up.
Yeah, I have. Yes, that's changed since I looked this morning. So there is a little bit more.
That's tomorrow.
Overnight rain. Yeah, Friday night into Saturday. There's nothing due today until we go towards midnight.
I think the point is it's cool and it's not going to get any warmer.
No.
And if there is a little bit of a shower tomorrow, however light it is, it's just not going to allow the ground to dry out.
No,
and that's been the problem the last couple of years.
Yeah, we're not talking about those conditions in Cheltenham which were fast drying. As you say, it's overcast, it's chilly. That downturn in temperature as of yesterday, whilst everybody was bemoaning it in terms of what they could wear, it was actually a good thing in terms of the track. And Selekovan's put on a lot of water. She's obviously very familiar with the track. And, you know, I think that extra little bit of rain overnight is only going to help.
Quick quiz question for you. Who's the best broodmare in National Hunt racing? Answer is Matney. She can't breed a bad one. And this is maybe the horse who's lowest rated of all her progeny, and he's still really good, and he runs in the Topham. He's Indiana Jones, and there's Mouse Morris, Grand National winning trainer, of course, with Rule the World. And off Indiana Jones goes to have his little canter around the turf here at Aintree. And of course, yesterday, the family honour was upheld, as if it needed to be, by Brighter Days Ahead. And every single one of this mare's offspring is an absolute beaut to look at. And this horse is no exception. I'm going to catch up with Mouse Morris. He's trying to run away from me, but he can't get away. How are you? All right?
Not too bad.
Good.
Considering.
Considering what?
My old age.
Come on. You're as old as you feel. Which is.
I feel old.
When you come back to Aintree year on year, what memories does it does it elicit for you?
Sure, I suppose the big day, wasn't it?
The big day.
Yeah.
For all the world.
Yeah. But a lot of good memories here.
What's your first one?
Oh, God.
You rode around here a few times, didn't
Oh, I did, yeah.
you? Yeah.
Finished 4th, 5th.
Who was your best spin round here?
A thing called something Black Justice, was it?
Okay.
Not Black Justice.
Now, this is definitely before my time. So. All right.
It was the day in the races in the Adelphi coming down the stairs on trays.
Hang on, right? You're going to have to explain this. So you're staying in the Adelphi Hotel?
Yeah.
And
used to have races.
So all the jockeys would get on tea trays and race down the stairs, like the big central staircase.
Yeah.
And then, so that was the night before, and then you'd come and ride in the Grand National.
Yeah.
The day you won it, of course, you won it with a maiden horse who'd never won over fences.
Yeah, but he was a good horse, though.
He was a good horse.
You know, he was unlucky. He was second in grade of races, you know. He was second in the Irish and Ash. You know, so he had the credentials, but he didn't have to win them.
And how did say that day compare to winning the Gold Cup?
Second.
So Gold Cup still.
Oh yeah,
was still the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now you've got Indiana Jones here today to run in the Topham. You've been quiet this season. How long's this been the plan?
Since just before Christmas.
Okay.
I think. He's kind of had a few moderate runs, but it was heavy ground. Ground was perfect. Gave an exhibition of jumping in Leopardstown. I wouldn't mind riding them.
Still.
Yeah.
There you are. Well, you never know what might happen this afternoon. How's my boy doing, Gentleman's Game?
He's great. He got in a bit of grass.
Because you had him in the National for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Just things, it was all happening a bit quick. But he's in great form. The injuries all healed up, and hopefully we'll be back next year.
Roll around next season.
Absolutely.
Perfect. We'll see you then. Cheers, Mouse.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
Well, it's always good to catch up with Laura Wright, who you might know as the sporting soprano, but so many strings to your bow, Laura. And you've been involved here at Aintree for, it's got to be over 10 years now, hasn't it?
This is my 10th year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And how big a part of your life has it become?
Huge. I think when I first sang here, I had, little knowledge of the National, its history, the people of Liverpool, and then I was sort of introduced to this incredible world of racing, a community of people, fashion, you name it, all of those good things about this place and its history. And now I feel like it's just the biggest day in my calendar, really. Yeah,
I mean, do you feel completely at home when you walk in? And everybody knows you and everyone knows you're part of the place?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's the nicest thing about it, because you get to know the faces and the people and the horses and the jockeys, the trainers, and everyone is so welcoming, everyone's so lovely. And my job is tiny in comparison to the whole festival, but it feels like it's that magical moment that I want to create. And I love that I sort of feel so welcomed here by the people of Liverpool, really.
And quite a lot's changed in your life in that time, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, massively. 2 babies, got married. Lots of other things in between. A lot of life's happened. Same for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but this is the constant. This is the thing that remains the same, and it's a pretty beautiful thing to be part of.
And how is work? How is the performing going at the moment?
Oh, amazing. Really busy times for me. A lot of songwriting, a lot of performing. Sport has always been like a massive part of my life. I'm incredibly passionate about playing sport when I was younger. Grew up with 3 older brothers who played rugby. I played rugby. So
you were a good rugby player, right?
Yeah, I played at Roslyn Park, and I don't know if some people would say I was very good, but that's very kind of you.
If you're playing at Roslyn Park, you're good, right?
I think my husband might say something different, but there we go. He used to play professional rugby,
exactly.
But for me it was just something that I knew would make my dad proud, that he had, a daughter who played the sport as well. And then from that I created this sort of niche of singing at sporting events. But it's because I'm passionate about it, I love it, and and this is, no exception either. The Grand National, what a place to be. And
I know because I'm married to a singer, the work you have to put in to keep everything exactly how you want it.
You're quite good at vocal exercises, aren't you?
I don't know if I'm good at vocal exercises. I'm quite lucky insofar as that I spent all my life talking, and touch wood, my voice holds up.
Do you warm up
reasonably
before
well.
these kind of things?
Not really.
Should we do a couple now?
The one thing my Laura always told me was that you shouldn't like stop using your voice. That you need to keep it going, keep it warm, even if you've had a big night out.
Yeah, it's a muscle, isn't it? You've got to keep using it.
You can't have big nights out.
I don't know what you're talking about, big nights out.
You can't have big nights out.
Never.
If you're performing the next day.
No, nothing wrong with a bit of whiskey for the voice.
So okay, so how would you? Are you performing today or just tomorrow?
Performing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So crucial today. Yeah. Absolutely keep the voice working, but not talk too much.
Yes.
So a little bit of voice rest is very important.
Not overdo it, not overpush it.
Absolutely.
So what sort of vocal exercises would you be doing on a daily basis just to keep yourself together?
Yeah, so I'd be blowing into a bottle of water with a straw,
yeah,
which doesn't involve any pressure on the vocal folds. I'd be doing some beautiful. It's a pro. Lovely. And then we might do something like, can you do a little tongue twister? Lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, yeah?
Yeah, nice. Yeah. And then maybe a little bit of me, 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 ma, 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 ma.
Now you get me. I'm going to have to start low because...
that was really nice.
Yeah. Me, 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 ma, 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 ma. Yeah?
So good.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Don't get me to go up the octave. I might start struggling. It's so lovely to see you here.
You too.
Tomorrow you are presumably performing just before the big race.
Just before the big race, also performing for Randox as well, up in the Golden Miller Suite, which is really special, singing for them at lunchtime and saying, you know, in a few hours I'm going to be out there, no matter the weather, belting out God Save the King.
And that feeling when you are getting to the end of God Save the King and you've got tens of thousands of people in front of you, and sometimes you've been performing in front of hundreds of thousands, just tell me still how that feels.
It's magic, and you can't replicate it anywhere else. And for me, it's such a unique perspective to have on this race, because it's not only that moment where you create the atmosphere ahead of something so exciting, there's that anticipation, you're there to build that for everyone, but then the moment I step down, I'm on the inside of the track and you hear the noise and the rumble almost through your chest of the horses coming forward. That for me is just something that I hope I never forget as an experience. It's magical. So lovely to talk to you again. Laura Wright, the sporting soprano, here at Aintree for the 10th year. This is Soul Icon behind me. He runs in the Topham today. Trainer Kieran Burke is here. He looks full of beans, Kieran, that's for sure.
He's definitely full of it, yeah. He comes alive when he comes here, so yeah, hoping for a clean run round and see what we can do.
What do you make of the season? It's got some quite bright spots, I think.
For me or the horse?
Well, you tell me.
Yeah, no, he's run well in some decent races this year. He's not been as busy this year by design, so yeah, he's coming in a fresher horse this year.
And to what extent has this been target number one?
This was the end target always.
This has always been the day.
We did a silly entry in the national and we were never going to get in, so I was just to keep the owners quiet and happy. So,
do they take a bit of managing?
Some of them do. This one here is quite demanding. So
is he now to introduce me?
This is Roy Smith.
Roy, come and have a quick chat with us. I'm told you're the most easygoing owner out. Never interfere.
I never bring up. I never speak to him. They wonder why. They wonder why. I don't need to anyway. He's the expert in it.
All right. So how did you two get involved?
Josie.
Okay. So how did it all come together? This horse, this partnership, this ownership.
Josie just chatted me up, and I just turned up. Like he said, I'm laid back. I just turn up.
Okay. And what tell me about the pleasure this horse has given you.
I've only had a very short period of time. He ran a good race at Campden, and it was good fun.
Oh, so you're quite a late comer to the party.
I'm a late comer to the party, yes. I'm only about a 3-month owner.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. And here you are at Aintree.
Aintree,
the eve of the Grand National.
That's right, yeah, I'm at the Grand
National. With a horse with a chance in the Topham.
Topham, that's right, yeah. I'm the lucky owner.
You are the lucky owner. You're lucky to have this man training the horse. Yeah. So, how do you envisage him running this afternoon? You've ridden him different ways this year. Are you going to be quite positive with him today?
I think so, yeah, over this trip. I think the trip's perfect for him. So we'd have to be fairly positive and pretty handy away anyway. He's got experience over fences from last year, so yeah, I think we're trying to be more positive with him.
He's charging around here like a marauding bull.
He is. He's he's definitely come alive this morning, but that's him. That's the way he is. He's always been quite forward going anyway, so
yeah.
That's good to see.
Yep, good horse. He's been a lot of fun for you all. Good luck this afternoon.
Cheers, Nick. Thank you.
Cheers, Kieran.
Cheers.
Well done. All right, Lydia and I need to have a little bit of a recharge before chance or no chance. which will be coming to you later this morning.
He means a bacon sandwich and a coffee.
I do actually. And the bacon sandwich is here now in the press room. They've got a little sliver of hash browning underneath.
Yeah, that's the bit I don't like.
Which was a surprise, but I surprised myself. I quite like it yesterday.
And I didn't like that. That wasn't a good surprise.
It's just that little bit of extra fattiness just to absorb any alcohol that's still in your system.
That was your night, the previous night.
I found quite pleasing, to be honest.
We were quite civilised last night.
We were very civilised last night. Nice curry.
They'll put this on the record.
It was a nice curry, wasn't it?
It was
really
lovely.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
Did I need that amaretto to finish it off?
It was your idea.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, it wasn't a bad idea. I slept better, that's for sure. Right, today, who are we backing? Shall I start?
Go for it.
Baron Noir I'm going to back today.
Okay, explain.
Obviously, big front runner's bias on the old course at Cheltenham on the first day. Love Sober Glory, super horse. I think he had a hard enough race. Baron Noir had a less hard race, did much the best of them, way the best of those coming from off the pace. I think this track will really suit him.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that argument.
Yeah, I'm going to back Gidley Park today. High risk, but potentially quite high reward. Ran an absolute belter here last year and ran a screamer behind Django Bay in a big time figure race at Ascot earlier in the year. So he'll do those two for me.
Okay, in the That Prize Guy top novices hurdle where you're going for Baron Noir, I've got a slightly wild one. I think starting 15.
Okay, go on.
Might run big. He's got some good form from earlier in the season with some of the leading horses from Ireland who aren't here. This kind of ground is going to suit him much better. He had no chance at the DRF. That kind of ground wasn't going to suit him. So this, I think, he could run really well at a big price, I think. I quite like the Cheek Pieces angle on Grey Dawning. I think that's going to help him.
I'd like to see him run well.
Yeah, so would I. And I think it will help his slightly scruffy jumping. I think I put it to Dan Skelton yesterday. He wasn't really having it, but I do think it will. And it certainly was at Aintree this time last year. And I think those two jumps were two successive mistakes in the Gold Cup put him under pressure. He then didn't stay. It was interesting. There's no Gold Cup. He's basically saying that horse is now we're going to be aiming for the Ryanair. That's going to be the campaign for next season.
Yeah. Okay. So Grey Dawning and starting
15. This is the one that you might not like. I think Regent Stroll.
Oh no, I'm happy with Regent Stroll.
I mean he's
up to 3 miles definitely.
He shapes like a stayer, but for his demeanour, doesn't he? And he did settle better at this meeting last year. I think it's my strongest view of the day, really. I think him for the 3 mile.
I think you'd be daft if you ruled anything really out of that.
That's
race.
wide open, isn't it?
Super competitive race.
Yeah, it is.
What did I remind me? What I liked in that race? I thought the ground might just be easy enough for Salva.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They just edged it.
Yeah.
In the end. But I can see the Regent Stroll case.
Yeah. I think Salva's going to be. He's going to want a trip, even more of a trip next season. I think he's going to be very, very good in those top staying handicaps. He's a future national horse, in fact.
What's the time? 8:46. Just time for a bacon roll, I think. And we'll be back with Chance or No Chance a little bit later on. That's it from day 2 here at Aintree for now.
You've been listening to Nick Luck Daily. Thanks for listening. This edition has been brought to you by Timeform, your trusted source for racing data and analysis, by Total Performance Data, the global leader in live horse racing data, and by FitzDares, laying some of the world's largest sporting wagers since 1882.